Ladies and gentlemen, imagine what would happen if, just for a season of your life, you gave yourself full permission to block out the noise, silence the doubts, and pour every ounce of energy into one mission, one goal, one vision. That's what laser focus does. It becomes your superpower. Right now, the world is overflowing with distractions. Endless notifications, mindless scrolling, opinions flying at you from every direction. And let's be honest, most people drown in it. They dilute their potential because they spread their attention too thin. But not if you choose to flip the switch and lock in with ruthless focus. The people who break barriers, the ones who become so good they're unrecognizable, have one thing in common: their ability to tune everything out and obsess over their growth. They aren't smarter, luckier, or more talented by default. They're more focused. They say no to parties. They say no to shortcuts. They say no to anything that doesn't move them closer to their vision. And while the world labels that as extreme, they understand the truth. You can't create extraordinary results with average levels of commitment. Laser focus doesn't mean you work harder for a day. It means you create an unshakable mental fortress around your mind. You guard your time like it's your most valuable asset, because it is. You wake up with a plan, and you execute without second guessing. You feel the urge to procrastinate, to drift, to relax, but you fight it. You remind yourself why you started. You remember that right now, while others waste time, you're crafting the future version of yourself that nobody recognizes yet. Think about this. In every field, business, sports, art, fitness, the elites rise because they're willing to obsess when others are casual. They don't dabble. They don't try. They immerse themselves so deeply that mastery becomes inevitable. That's not an accident. That's laser focus in motion. You can have it too. You just have to decide that your vision is non-negotiable, that you're done letting the trivial, temporary distractions steal your potential. That for the next stretch of your life, your energy belongs to one thing: becoming unrecognizable to your past self. The truth is, every time you choose focus, you're casting votes for the future you want. You're choosing strength over weakness, growth over stagnation, discipline over chaos. Most will never do it. That's why most never change. But you're built different. Your ability to focus is your separation. Your refusal to be average is your edge. And when you commit fully, when you lock in so hard that even your old habits can't find you, that's when transformation begins. Picture this: the version of you reading this right now is temporary. The way you look, think, operate, it's all a snapshot, not the final product. But here's the raw truth. Transformation doesn't happen by accident, and it definitely doesn't happen by playing it safe. It happens when obsession takes over, when you become so fixated on your goals, your growth, your vision, that the old version of you simply can't survive the intensity. That's the point where everything changes, when obsession becomes your fuel and transformation becomes your destiny. Most people fear obsession. They water down their dreams because they're scared of being too much. They're afraid to stand out, to work relentlessly, to sacrifice what's familiar. But the people who become unrecognizable, the ones who shatter expectations, including their own, they lean into obsession like it's oxygen. They let it consume them in the best way possible. They wake up thinking about their craft. They fall asleep visualizing their next level. Their conversations, their routines, their environment, everything gets aligned with their mission. This isn't about balance. Balance is, for later transformation, requires imbalance. It requires you to pour so much energy into your evolution that your old self gets uncomfortable. That version of you that procrastinates, that plays small, that doubts your worth. Obsession suffocates that version until it no longer exists. You've got to want your future so badly that the present version of you feels irrelevant. That's when you know you're locked in. Think about athletes, entrepreneurs, artists, creators. The icons you admire didn't stumble into greatness. They were obsessed. They practiced when nobody was watching. They stayed focused when nobody believed. They worked when the world was sleeping, doubting, quitting, and that level of obsession made them unrecognizable. They outgrew their old mindset, their old limitations, their old life, and now the world sees them as unstoppable, but it all started with a personal decision to obsess. There's a moment in everyone's journey where you have to get brutally honest with yourself. Are you dabbling or are you obsessed? Are you entertaining distractions or are you building your future with tunnel vision? Are you protecting your comfort zone or are you burning it down to create space for your next level? The ones who become unrecognizable, they choose obsession every single time. The truth is, the process isn't glamorous. It's gritty. It's repetitive. It's lonely. You'll lose count of the hours, the sacrifices, the setbacks. But that's the beauty of obsession. It makes you relentless. It hardens your focus, elevates your standards, rewires your mind. Before you even notice, your results start shifting, your mindset sharpens, your confidence explodes. One day, you look in the mirror and you barely recognize the person staring back. That's the byproduct of being so obsessed with your evolution that your old self couldn't survive the pressure. It's easy to get overwhelmed when you look at the big picture, the massive goals, the impossible dreams, the vision that feels so far away it almost seems out of reach. But here's the hidden truth that separates those who rise from those who stay stuck. Greatness isn't built overnight. It's stacked one small, intentional win at a time. Those tiny victories, the ones nobody else notices, they compound. They add up quietly, relentlessly, and before you know it, mastery isn't a dream, it's your reality. Most people underestimate the power of small wins. They chase big, flashy achievements, thinking that success comes in one giant leap. But success is sneaky. It hides in the details, in the daily grind, in the tiny choices you make when nobody's watching. It's in the early morning reps, the late night studying, the quiet discipline of doing what needs to be done even when it's boring, even when motivation fades. Every time you show up, every time you push through resistance, you're laying another brick on the foundation of your future. Think of it like this. Imagine stacking tiny dominoes. At first they seem insignificant, but as they line up, the momentum builds. One domino knocks down the next, and soon they trigger a chain reaction so powerful it feels unstoppable. That's exactly how small wins work. They seem harmless at first glance, but when you stay consistent, when you collect those wins day after day, you create momentum most people only dream of. The ones who become unrecognizable understand this game. They don't rely on motivation alone. They rely on habits, on systems, on stacking small wins so relentlessly that improvement becomes inevitable. It's waking up 5 minutes earlier. It's reading 10 pages when you don't feel like it. It's choosing the healthy option. It's doing one more rep, writing one more sentence, practicing one more time. Alone, these wins seem small, but together they rewrite your story. Here's where most people fail. They dismiss the small stuff. They tell themselves, it's just one workout skipped, or it's only one bad meal, or one lazy day won't hurt. But what they forget is that the same principle applies in reverse. Small losses compound too. One missed day turns into two, one excuse becomes a habit, and suddenly mediocrity creeps in, silently but aggressively. That's why every small win matters. You're either stacking bricks for your future or tearing them down with your choices. Picture your future self a year from now. Stronger, sharper, more confident, absolutely unrecognizable from the person you are today. That version of you is the result of every small win you stack between now and then. You don't need massive breakthroughs to evolve. You need relentless consistency in the small moments. That's how greatness sneaks up on you. That's how you wake up one day, look in the mirror, and realize you've been building an unstoppable version of yourself one small win at a time. Let them talk, let them doubt, let them wonder what you're doing while you quietly disappear into the grind. Because here's the truth: when you're locked in, when your focus is relentless, your results start making noise long before you ever say a word. You don't have to explain yourself when your progress is undeniable. Your results speak volumes, and they speak in a language the world can't ignore. Most people waste their energy trying to convince others of their potential. They argue, they explain, they seek validation. But the ones who become truly unrecognizable, they stay silent. They channel every ounce of energy into action. They understand that the world only believes proof, not promises. You can talk about your goals all day, but when you walk into a room and your results show up before you even speak, that's real power. Your discipline will be misunderstood. Your hustle will be questioned. People will doubt your journey because they can't see the vision that keeps you up at night. But that's not your responsibility. Your only job is to grind in silence until your progress screams so loud that even your critics applaud. Let your work create shockwaves. Let your evolution be the answer to every doubt, every insult, every piece of skepticism they throw your way. The moment your results speak louder than your words, the narrative shifts. Suddenly, the same people who doubted you can't help but respect the transformation. You don't need to clap for yourself, your results will do it for you. That's how legends move, quiet hustle, loud results. Let them watch you work in silence and wonder how you became unrecognizable. Comfort zones are seductive. They whisper to you, telling you to stay where it's familiar, where it's easy, where nothing feels risky. But here's the reality: most people ignore comfort zones are traps. They keep you average. They lock you inside the version of yourself you've already outgrown. And if you stay there too long, they bury your potential right alongside your dreams. The people who become unrecognizable, the ones who shock the world with their growth, they don't flirt with comfort, they sacrifice it completely. Greatness doesn't live where it's cozy. It lives where it's uncomfortable, where you're stretched beyond what feels manageable, where your routines are disrupted and your limits get exposed. That's the zone where real change happens, where you feel the burn, the doubt, the pressure, and you keep going anyway. If you're not willing to be uncomfortable, you're not willing to grow. It's that simple. Think about it. Every time you step beyond your comfort zone, you're shedding layers of the old you. You're breaking free from the habits, fears, and excuses that have kept you stagnant. The workouts that push you to exhaustion, the late nights spent building your vision, the sacrifices that your comfort zone hates, that's the exact currency you pay to evolve. Most people settle because comfort feels safe. But safe never changed the world. Safe never made someone look in the mirror and barely recognize the person staring back. You have to be ruthless about your evolution. You have to sacrifice temporary comfort for permanent greatness. Every moment you spend outside your comfort zone is another step toward becoming the version of you that no one, not even you, saw coming. The version of you that exists right now is not the final product. You are not fixed, not defined by your current abilities, circumstances, or mindset unless you choose to be. The truth is, reinvention isn't a one-time event. It's a ruthless, ongoing process, and the ones who become unrecognizable are the ones obsessed with constant evolution. They don't settle for past wins. They don't cling to outdated versions of themselves. They reinvent relentlessly, without apology, without hesitation. Most people get stuck because they believe growth has a finish line. They hit one goal and they plateau, thinking that's enough. But mastery doesn't work like that. The best never stop upgrading. The ones who shock the world, the athletes, the entrepreneurs, the icons, they're in a constant state of becoming. Every time they level up, they ask themselves, what's next? Who do I need to become now? They stay hungry, stay evolving, stay uncomfortable. Reinvention means killing the old version of yourself daily. It means being brutally honest about your weaknesses, your excuses, your patterns, and dismantling them piece by piece. It's uncomfortable. It feels risky, but the alternative is worse: staying the same, staying average, staying stuck in a loop of who you were yesterday. You weren't designed to stay in one form forever. You're built to evolve, to grow sharper, stronger, more disciplined, to surprise yourself with who you become. But that only happens when you commit to reinvention again and again. You have to want your future self more than you want the comfort of your current identity. You have to be willing to outgrow your surroundings, your circle, your own limits. Reinvention isn't a choice for the elite, it's the requirement for anyone who refuses to stay invisible.